Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with a Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today we are with Christina Najjar. She is a fashion journalist and editor here based in LA. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course. We always want to talk about, your journey and how did you get to where you are right now? So, did you always know you wanted to be a writer? Was fashion or lifestyle always a passion for you growing up?
Yeah, so I think it has been a journey. That's a good word to describe it because it has been quite the path.
Mm-hmm.
I was an English major in college. I've always loved to write. I think writing and storytelling is one of the most amazing things that we can do as humans. So I love it in every form, and I also love to read. But I didn't initially jump right into journalism after I graduated. I actually was in fashion, and I worked at an app for a while. And
where did you go to college?
I went to Stanford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I did undergrad at Stanford, English major, loved it. But then after that, I was like, okay, I want to go into fashion. So I worked at Gap Inc. for a while at their headquarters in San Francisco, which was an incredible experience. And then I thought I want to go work in sort of the new era of retail. So I went to work in an app called Poshmark, which is C2C, where you can buy and sell lightly used clothing and accessories. And it was incredible, so cool, and so different to Gap. And then I thought, I've always still continued to love writing, and I've been freelance writing as a hobby, so why don't I go back to school? So I moved to New York, and I got my master's in fashion journalism at Parsons School of Design. And that was a fun and crazy 2 years, and while I was getting my master's, I just started working more and more in New York and really starting to build up a portfolio, and eventually became the online editor of Modern Luxury. So wrote for Gotham, Hamptons, all of their magazines, and then after I graduated in July of last year, I decided I really missed the good weather out here on the West Coast, and decided to go freelance again and move back out here and give LA a shot.
So when you were making the transition from working in the business side of fashion to going back to school for fashion journalism, what was your motivation in doing that and moving to New York?
Yeah, I think I really do believe the overused phrase "you only live once" is sort of key to my being. I think you have to try things and not be afraid of taking risks. Someone once told me it's as important to find out if you don't like something as it is to find out if you do like something.
Because that's a big jump to leave a job that you like to kind of completely change your whole career trajectory and go back to school.
Completely. And, going to a school like Stanford, everybody is so, all of my peers have these super, incredible paths. They work at Google for 10 years. Yeah. They work at Twitter for 10 years. And I was like, I'm leaving the Bay Area to go back to school to be a fashion journalist. And everyone was like, okay, good luck to you. That's very random. But, you have to do what makes you happy, and you have to do what makes you feel exhilarated. And for me, I noticed that the times when I was most excited by what I was doing is when a piece would get published, or someone would, back in the day, I would write kind of not taboo but risque or thought-probing topics for Refinery 29, and I just loved getting into it in the comments with people, or people would tweet me or
what
Instagram
were some of
me.
those stories?
So for example, I wrote an article about why I think dressing up for Coachella is silly, and you should just wear whatever you want and look kind of weird, and that got a lot of backfire. Or I wrote a piece for Pop Sugar about
so funny that's so controversial.
Yeah, I mean, well, how intense people get about Coachella. I wrote a piece on Pop Sugar about why I used to never wear light wash jeans because I have a big butt, and it was always embarrassed. And then finally I just got over it, and I wrote this personal essay, and I got an outpouring of support and girls saying, you've inspired me to do that. And to me, that connection between audience and author, and the way that writing can touch so many people and inspire them or make them mad and make them form an opinion, it's so powerful. And so that's what really drove me to say, okay, this is what makes me happy, and this is what I want to do.
What are your favorite topics to write about?
I love, I started off obviously when I went back to school writing a lot about fashion, but in the past few years, I've really gotten into writing about, so two things. Firstly, wellness. So moving to New York made me take a hard look at my habits in the mirror, and I thought, okay, I need to get real about health and wellness, and so that's what I started writing about too, just like small hacks that you can do to make your life better and kind of improve your sleep and stuff like that. And then the second thing that I got really obsessed with, it was kind of a happy accident of my job, is I'm really into writing about founder stories and new companies and new brands and all the ways that this new wave of entrepreneurs is making our world a better place. And, I say happy accident because I didn't really think about it when I was going into this editorial job. But then, these amazing founders would reach out and say, can you tell my story? And in my own small way, I'm helping spread the word and tell
definitely.
my readers. And I just think we're in this amazing time of inertia right now, where people are taking thing by thing, be it toothpaste, be it vitamins, be it the diamond shopping experience, and they're revamping it, and they're saying we can do this better. Like, we can inform people, we can be more transparent, we can make this more fun. And I'm so inspired by that. So that's another thing that I love to write about is what drives people to start a company and why they want to change whatever industry or product that they're revamping.
Awesome. And so wellness and founder stories. What are some wellness like hacks that you've figured out or written about that you can enlighten us with?
Where do I even begin? I mean, obviously I love food, so it's
Me
tough.
too.
I try to be good, but food, I try to stay away from refined sugar. I try to do the gluten-free thing.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. But, now there are, to my point before, there are so many cool new updates. And, I was just at Erewhon, which is my favorite place on earth. It's a healthy grocery store here in LA. They have a bunch of them, and they have all the best products. And I was eating these paleo puffs, so they taste just like cheesy like chips or whatever, but they're completely gluten-free, grain-free, whatever.
I feel like that's such an LA thing.
Oh my God, it's so LA, and I sound so LA already. Like I sound ridiculous. Now I'm that person who's like, is there gluten in this? Is this paleo? Like, do you have oat milk? But
I feel like even when you go to like restaurants, like anywhere now, they're like, do you have any allergies? Is there any like restrict? Because I feel like it's just becoming like more normal to eat healthy and kind of like adjust your
100%.
lifestyle.
And people are, making those shifts, just because I think, what you put in your body and how you treat yourself does have an effect on how fast you can think or how, productive you are or whatever. So try to be good about that. I'm obsessed with sleeping, so I really try.
I love sleeping.
I love sleeping. So I do like a weighted eye mask, which is a new thing for me.
Oh,
I'm
really?
obsessed with those. Get them on Amazon. They're so good.
I've been obsessed. I got like a silk, like the slip eye mask
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with those.
for like a gift, and I was like, is it bad that I'm addicted? Like I can only sleep with this eye mask now?
No, and you need to get the pillowcase too, the silk pillowcase, because it keeps your hair like more, it's supposed to be better for your skin.
And it like keeps like wrinkles off, right?
Oh my God, yeah. And I'll do anything for skincare to look young as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, silk this, silk that. I try to sleep on my back because then you get less wrinkles.
Yeah, you get less wrinkles too.
But I always wake up in the morning and my face is like mashed
The
into
best
the
way.
pillow.
I've been trying to do that too. Like to put two pillows on each side to like prop your body
to
up.
nestle you.
Yeah.
In. Yeah, exactly. So, God, take magnesium every night. Seriously, that's a big life
Wait, my
hack.
dad was telling me he started taking magnesium. What benefits does that have?
Okay, well, firstly, it's called Nature's Xanax. That's
Okay.
its nickname. So if that isn't, reason enough to try it, I don't know what is. But it just relaxes you and it helps you sleep, and it's really. Like 80% of magnesium of Americans are magnesium deficient. That's not an accurate statistic because I'm not a doctor, but it's
Something
it's
like
a
that.
high number. And magnesium really it depletes when you're stressed, it depletes your magnesium levels, which is why we're all so deficient. So take magnesium. My favorite brand is Natural Calm. It's the best.
Okay, I'm gonna try that because
so
I feel like that's way better than taking any sort of sleeping pill.
Yeah, no, it's bad. But hey, wellness is also about balance, and sometimes if you need a little sleeping pill or a little Xanax to get through the night, I'm not going to judge you for it, and you shouldn't judge yourself for it.
Oh my God, awesome. So you were in New York and you said you were like taking a hard look at, your lifestyle,
Yes.
wanting to make a shift. Like what was your motivation for after, going back to school, working there, being successful to shift and come back to the West Coast?
So I think that everybody has their perfect city, and
Mm-hmm.
I never like to say I don't like this city or whatever. I think every city is someone's perfection. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like everyone has a perfect dress, everyone has a perfect person. And I had always thought that I would live in New York. Like I'm from England originally. I grew up in London. I always thought I was.
And they're kind of similar in many ways.
So similar. And I always thought, okay, I'll go to school, in California and spend a few years there, and then I'll end up in New York and I'll work for a magazine, and that's that. But when I moved back to New York, I really just missed the lifestyle of California. I missed being able to go outside. I missed the weather. I missed, it is a different vibe and attitude.
Yeah, totally different.
And the things that people value are different, and neither one is better or worse. Just for me, like New York is very intense.
Yes.
And I'm love to chill, and I'm very like, I like to have a long dinner. And in New York, everybody would get up at 4:30 to do 2 Pilates classes.
Oh my God.
And then like drink a triple shot of espresso and then go to work from like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then they would want to go to dinner and drink like 14 bottles of wine. And I'm more like, get up, get a coffee, do some work, chill, So that being said, New York is absolutely incredible, the culture, and there's just always something going on. And you never feel lonely in New York, You always feel surrounded by people. And that was one of the biggest adjustments moving to LA is, even though I had a bunch of friends here, you don't see as many people because you're always in your car. You just like leave from your house into your car.
Yeah.
Whereas
In New York, you can look outside the window and there's like thousands of people walking around.
Yeah, well, and also you go downstairs, you say hey to your doorman, you see the people in the elevator, you're constantly surrounded by people. You go to the bodega, you get a coffee. Like it's a very together city. You spend a lot of time with other people. So that was a big adjustment from New York to LA. But overall, I like LA.
Yeah.
Now.
And how long have you been here now?
Almost 4 months.
Wow.
So I'm still new.
Yeah, you're still getting your LA like roots,
getting
like
the vibe.
Yeah,
I'm finding my best oat milk matcha latte. But yeah, it's.
And has like the type of stories you've written or like publications changed since you've made the shift over?
Yeah, definitely. So now I feel like even more I'm in the wellness epicenter of the world. And every time there's a new chakra balancing meditation sound bath thing, I write about that. But I've also been doing more brand consulting while I'm out here. And, I think of brand consulting or marketing or any sort of strategy in the creative realm as it's just another form of storytelling. So it's cool to be able to flex those muscles and work with companies on helping tell their stories and helping them connect with their customers, which has always been another passion of mine. So.
And what type of companies like have you been consulting for?
Everything. I'm doing 2 jewelry brands, an activewear brand, a cannabis company, which is new and exciting, an app. So a little bit of everything, and that sort of project-based work really suits me just because it's it's an honor to get to come into these companies and make an impact and work with their teams, and it's really special, and it's always something new, and I think it makes me think really outside the box and think look at every problem through a new lens. So it's cool. It's crazy, and I do spend a lot of time in my car like taking conference calls while I'm like cruising down the PCH. No, I'm just kidding. But I take all my conference calls very seriously.
Yes.
And I would never drive while I do them. But it's a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm adapting. I'm seeing how it goes.
So when you consult for these brands, you help them, like they come to you and they're like, we need help like with our overall look, our story, like how we're going to present ourselves.
Under the marketing realm, I'm really a jack of all trades. So they can be like, hey, we need a ton of help with our Instagram. Can you create content for us? Or what do you think we should do here? Or, hey, we're having a lot of trouble with partnerships. Do you know anyone who could do this, this, and this? Or, hey, can you write some copy for us? Or can you like get our blog up and running? So again, it's always something new and different. But I always joke that if I was going to start a company, or like an agency by myself, it would be called One Woman Circus, because that is literally what I am.
Are you thinking about doing that?
I don't know. I think, I never thought I would. I'm not sure. Maybe. It would be really called One Woman Circus.
Yeah, that's a great name. And do you think like you're pulling from your past experiences, like working like on the business side too, with like your editorial side, when you kind of like look at the lens of each of these companies?
Totally. I think they're so interconnected, because it's like when you're writing an article, you're thinking about, what does my audience care about? Like, what do they want to hear about? And that's really all marketing is you're thinking like, how can I get this message across to the people who need to know? And now, with social media, and there's so many touch points, there's a lot of different levers to pull for brands, for them to connect to their consumers. But that's all it is. It's just storytelling in a different format. So definitely pull upon not only my experience from past lives, but also my network. I mean, as well, this world of extended fashion accessories,
and it's kind of
jewelry,
like a
beauty.
small community.
It's small, yeah. And I'm always calling a friend from New York saying, hey, like, I know you do PR, like one of my clients needs PR here, like I know the best photographer for here. And it's really cool, as I get older, to know more people and to be able to leverage that network.
Yeah,
across
totally.
the board. Yeah.
And kind of like shifting a little bit, most articles that, people write for now are digital, and a lot of print magazines are going out of business slowly but surely, or transitioning just to fully online. Like, what do you kind of see for the future of like journalism and media?
It's so funny. I mean, I actually wrote a piece for the last print edition of LA Confidential ever. So it was so bittersweet, because I was so proud. It was like right when I moved to LA, and I got this pitched this idea, but then they were like, yeah, we'd love to take this, but this is the last ever print edition. So we're in a really crazy transitional time right now, and now it's all about clicks and shares versus magazines purchased. And I think, there's no good or bad. It's just changing. I don't think that print will be gone forever by any token. I think it just needs to adapt. They're different. I grew up reading magazines. I will always love getting a magazine and reading it cover to cover. I think it's such a pleasure. But I'm mainly a digital journalist, so
most people are now. Yeah,
it's so crazy. So it's just, I think you do have to adjust slightly for audience and format. And now I think a lot about my audience reading on their phone, like they're waiting for the subway or whatever, they're bored in a doctor's office, they're scrolling. So it's like, how does that translate? It's just a lot more to think about. Whereas I think traditional print is you kind of know who's picking up those magazines. So,
and you have like longer lead times for print.
Yeah.
There's only so much they can put on each page.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot more structured, and there's a lot more process and format, whereas digital, it's kind of like the Wild West.
Do you think there's like less fact checking these days?
I do. Yeah, I do. I think, I think as more and more people become creators and writers, which is amazing, and that is one of the best things about the internet.
It's democratizing,
it's
like
100%.
Yeah.
But I also think that does open the door for, there's a bigger margin of error. And,
yes. And right now, like anyone with a blog, even like myself, can just like
publish stuff, yeah.
Write whatever my thoughts are, and it is what it is, and it's out there. But
exactly. And so I think we see that a lot on Instagram, especially in the wellness space with like food stuff. People are like, yeah, you shouldn't eat like fruit and, almond
like,
butter together. And I'm like, are you a doctor? And then I like look at them and they're 21 and they live in like a random state and they didn't go to college. And I'm like, you shouldn't be advising people on what to eat then.
So how can you trust these things? Because every time, like, I read so much like wellness, lifestyle stuff, like, and a lot of times they're contradicting each other, right? So
Yes.
one day I'll read that like almond milk is great for me, and the next day like almond milk is like ruining the world. So what am I supposed to believe?
It's definitely tough, and I think there is so much information out there.
Yeah.
And I get texts from my friends all the time because they know I'm in this space, and they're like, so what is the deal with oat milk? What's the deal with collagen? And it's like,
what is the deal?
and I'm like, well, firstly, disclaimer, I am not a doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an unsatisfying answer, but I would say you kind of just have to pull from different sources that you trust and then form your own opinion, which is tiring and exhausting, and it would be a lot easier if people just told the truth. But you have to...
Because for instance, personal experience, I went on like the keto diet.
Oof, how'd that go for you?
So the first time I tried it, I lost like a bunch of weight right away because I think I just couldn't find like enough things to eat.
Yeah.
And then the second time I tried it, I like ended up gaining weight. So I was like, I don't know. I feel like eating like this amount of fat, like if you're actually doing it properly, can't be healthy,
I just think that the fad diet thing is so terrifying, and people just keep repackaging them and trying them, and like intermittent fasting now people are doing. And
I tried it. I was like, I don't know, I'm just like starving.
Yeah. and I just think, the diet industry needs to perpetuate these rumors, and they prey on our insecurities and our like being busy. We don't have time to like do studies and research, so we're just like, okay, keto, we'll try it, give me a...
Because like all of a sudden like
avocado.
Everyone is like saying like this is like the new thing to do, this is like the healthy thing to do, and it's like the fads and there's so many that are coming out.
So many, and it's just, again, I think now with the quantity of content that we have access to, it's so overwhelming.
And it's also, when you're doing research, it's, even if you're pulling from different sources, it's easy to like have a biased opinion and have find articles that back that up.
Yeah,
either way,
it's confirmation bias all the way. You read it and you're like, nah, I always knew it. Almond milk is bad for me, and I'm just like, I think you just have to be patient and figure out what works for you, and as much as possible try to quiet the noise and just
and probably reading like more established publications. They're doing like a little bit more vetting.
Just again, I would always say check your sources. So if a 16-year-old girl on Instagram is telling you to eat 12 bananas in a day, just like gut check that. Be like, should I trust this person? No disrespect to bananas, but so I would say just, doctors go to school for a really long time, so we should, try to trust them and not the Instagram people, but. And
where do you see, like, what are your hopes and, like, dreams, like, in your career in the next couple of years?
I think, I get so much joy from helping brands tell their narratives, as I said, and I think I want to continue to freelance write as well. So for me, I'm really happy if I'm creating, if I'm in any way. So whether that's creating Instagram content for a brand, whether that's writing, whether that's doing any number of things, as long as I have that creative output, I'm really happy. So I think I'll be doing this for the next couple of years, but who knows? Maybe
one woman circus
agency will be coming your way eventually. I don't know.
And we always ask all of our guests, like, what is your spark, which is kind of like that fire inside you, that motivation that keeps your hustle going and keeps you like motivated? I think,
as I said, as long as I'm creatively outputting, that makes me really happy. But I really like having fun and just not taking anything too seriously. I'm very lucky to get to work in an industry that is fun and constantly evolving and generally for the good of mankind. So,
generally.
Generally. So I think as long as I'm having fun, creating cool stuff and doing it and collaborating with cool people, then that's what really keeps me going.
Awesome. Well, we gift all of our guests a spark ring.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So it's a little ring that's just a reminder, a daily reminder of like continuing to hustle and grind. And if it doesn't fit you, we can send you one in your size.
Pretty. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's gorgeous. I love it.
So with, for instance, like the spark ring, there's just like a little extra meaning to jewelry. And I feel like a lot of jewelry pieces can, you know, be more than just like a luxury item, but have like a lot of emotional, like sentimental value. Do you have like a piece that's special to you?
Yeah, I do. I have this this diamond necklace that I really rarely take off, and I got
it's
it.
So pretty.
Thank you. I got it in India, in Jaipur, with my parents.
Which is a very big gem cutting destination.
Yeah, they call it. Yeah, the jewelry there is so phenomenal and such talented artistry there. It's incredible. And I was graduating high school, and I was on a trip with my parents that summer, and I was, you know, about to move away to America, which was so far away at that time. Seemed really far away.
Well, I mean, Stanford to UK is really far. It's like 12 hours or something,
12
right?
hours, and I wasn't afraid, and I always knew I wanted to go, but it was like, okay, this is it, like really doing it. So they wanted to get me something, and I picked something that I felt like I really love things that I don't have to take off.
Me too.
Like, I love that stuff. So I wanted something that really just suited my personality and was like classic, but felt, you know, modern at the same time, and that I could wear with anything, dress up and dress down. And I really do love it still to this day. That was a long time ago because I'm old now, but yeah, and I have a matching pair of earrings to it too.
Nice.
So when I want to get really fancy, so I love it. It's such a good memory, and again, I really love things that I don't have to take off.
Me too. It's just like it's less likely to be lost.
Yes.
And also it's just like you put it on and you just like don't have to think about it. You're always like slightly accessorized.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we asked what type of jewelry is like kind of like your style. What are things that you like are interested in seeing? Like, how would you describe, you know, your jewelry personal style if you were going to like go in and invest in more pieces?
I would say I tend to go for pretty classic things. That being said, I have gone in phases. I mean, lest we forget the Tiffany phase. That was like the first phase. We did, you know, I did all the chain link.
The silver return to Tiffany.
Oh yeah, I had the dog tag. Yes. It's very important to me. It was truly, I was like, I'm never going to take this off. This is whatever.
This is a timeless piece.
I was like, this is timeless. I remember like sobbing to my parents being like, I need this investment piece. They were like, okay, wow. So there was the Tiffany phase, and then there was, what phase was next? I went through a big David Yurman phase too after, which is like graduated to that, a lot of that cable stuff. And now I love simple stuff now. I try, but the area that I go most crazy in is earrings. I love I have a bunch of piercings, and I love little fun, you know, earrings, mixing and matching and that kind of stuff. But I'd say I'm a gold over silver girl. And love necklaces, love to layer a lot of necklaces.
And I know you said you like were interested in like Princess Diana's jewelry.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Princess Diana. I'm obsessed with her. I've read every single biography. I love her. I think she's iconic. And I think she, you know, when she joined the royal family, she had access to all these incredible, you know, heirloom pieces that were, you know, if you looked at them off, you might think, oh, it's a little bit like outdated, or it feels a little musty and old. But the way that she wore them with modern fashion to me was so inspiring and so cool. And I really love like that mixing and matching, and how the right outfit can take a vintage jewelry piece into modern day. You know, her tiaras were incredible, and of course that big choker that she was wearing when she danced with John Travolta, and even her engagement ring, that sapphire is,
which now belongs to Kate Middleton.
I absolutely love it. I love sapphires. Are my birthstones.
So, oh, nice. That's a good birthstone.
It is.
I hate my birthstone.
Is it pearl?
It's a garnet.
Oh, okay.
It's worse,
also tough.
We have this diamond tennis choker that kind of reminded me when you said that you liked her choker.
dying for a tennis bracelet or a tennis necklace, like, or whatever.
Yeah, this is a tennis necklace, and we have like a matching bracelet form too. But you can actually make this really versatile, so it's choker length, and or you can extend it to make it like a longer, fancier version.
My God, that is.
And it can also be a double layered tennis bracelet.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, that's definitely next on my wish list as I'm thinking about, what pieces I want to invest in next.
But I love it because, like, this is something you can layer with a bunch of, like, longer necklaces, wear with, like, something more casual, or go, like, super fancy with it.
I love the way that diamonds look like with denim.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
Or like a white
t-shirt and jeans,
or like even a white collared shirt with this underneath, I think is just so iconic.
Yes.
And I feel like as I get older, I really just started to wear more neutrals and then just have, really good jewelry, and then that's like perfect.
That's all you need.
This is so stunning.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. How many carats is that?
So these are like 3 points each.
Okay.
So total carat weight on the website. Can you tell me? We'll edit this in. No. But I also was just curious because we were talking about like the royal family and whatever. What do you think about like Meghan Markle and them leaving?
So
this is totally off topic, but I'm just curious.
I have a very strong opinion. I have personally thought that Meghan was out to do some shenanigans the whole time. I just have a weird feeling. Here's why. I'll tell you why. So in her interview, when they were like, how'd you know? Like, how'd you get set up with Harry? And she was like, well, my friend was like, hey, I have a guy for you. I want you to meet him. It's the Prince Harry. And she was like, oh, and so I just said to my friend, okay, I guess I could be interested. Is he kind? And I was like, girl, your friend just said, I want to set you with Prince Harry. You did not say, is he kind? You said, oh my God, when can I go? Like, I need to go get my hair done. Like, yes. Like, no, you're lying. And from that time on, I just thought, you are trying to paint this picture of yourself as this like total goody two shoes, whatever. And now look what she did, splitting up the royal family. I'm very upset for my country.
So now that means like, what does that mean? That I didn't know people could like leave the royal family.
I mean, they can't really. That's why I think that
they just don't want to do like their duties and
they don't want to do their duties, and they being a royal is really difficult, and I accept that, and I understand. But at the end of the day, it's also a massive privilege, and it's just kind of like a strange lottery you win in life. And I think,
is she not the first American to?
So Wallis Simpson was if anybody watches The Crown, my favorite show in the world. Wallis Simpson was an American, and she took the other prince away, which is why they had all that drama. And so it's, I don't know. I'm very upset. I think that the UK is very upset. I think the Queen is very upset. And
because like, I feel like people welcomed her with like open arms.
Welcomed her. They threw her a big wedding. It's just, and that's also the other thing is like for the taxpayer, that was a really expensive wedding. You can't just like have a really expensive wedding and get all the free clothes and then be like, all right, peace, I'm going to LA. Like, what? Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if their marriage will stand the test of time, but
time will tell.
Only time will tell.
But yeah, I love that little insight. Anyway. Awesome. So I'm so happy that you were able to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of
this is
course.
an absolute pleasure. And now I have a new tennis necklace on my wish list. So.
Oh, how many total? 3.25 carats total weight.
Great.
Yeah.
Just tell Santa next year. That's what I want.
Yes. Where can people like read your articles, find you, follow you, let them know?
Yes. Find me on Instagram. It's me Tinx, ITSMETINX. And I post all my articles and a lot of my clients and the people that I work with on there. So follow along. Also do quite a bit of royal commentary if you are into that. So I'm getting into it. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So please follow me there, and for lots of Meghan Markle gossip.
I'll be keeping up. And if you want to see the beautiful jewelry we were looking at today, follow us on YouTube at The Clear Cut, and of course on Instagram at The Clear Cut. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys next week. Bye.